Hey guys, what makes a superhero? Usually, the traits we look for are honesty, selflessness, a commitment to justice, a love of people in general, and sometimes it includes a backstory with a tragedy that propels the hero forward. Well, today I want to introduce you to 8 characters that you probably aren't aware are superheroes. 4 from the West and 4 from anime. Now in anime, the superheroes are a little bit different than we think in the West. It has its own take on Cape Crusaders, some patrolling streets, others guarding entire worlds. So sit back, relax, and find out about these 8 superheroes that if you haven't watched their series or read their comics, you're going to want to. First up, Kafka Hibana. In a world, set in a world which monsters named kaiju regularly cause disasters, and Japan having the highest rate of kaiju attacks in the world, they've established the Japanese Anti-Kaiju Defense Force, or JAKDF. Kafka Hibana is just a regular person who really wants to be a part of this team. At the age of 32, he has less than a year to pass the exams and the tests this time to make it on the team, or he'll be considered ineligible. Which is too bad, because when you first meet him, you absolutely fall in love with him. Now Kafka ends up ingesting a parasitic creature, gaining the ability to turn into a kaiju. And now he's got to navigate using his power, or trying to hide it for a while, and becoming part of that organization that eliminates the kaiju. He also wants to fulfill a promise to his childhood friend Mina, so he can stand side by side with her and fight. The manga is amazing. The anime, especially season 1, is absolutely fantastic. What makes this story different is Kafka has the support of his team and a special new friend he made right at the time he ingested the parasite, Reno Ichikawa, who's loyal and supports him all the way, which is a nice turn for a superhero story. So what makes you want to watch this more? You want to see Kafka succeed. And in the manga, he's pretty hot. But don't let that be the only reason you read. He's one of those characters born to be a superhero. He just didn't know it. But those who are around him have known all along. Next up, Adam Glenn, He-Man. Now with the release of the recent movie, He-Man, Masters of the Universe, and didn't know that, yes, he has an actual name, Adam Glenn, who's a prince who resides in Eternia. 2026 movie has brought a lot of conversation up about this character. But the one thing they did not let you know is that he is actually considered a superhero. His backstory is one of sadness. And he learns that with a sword that he can wield, and by the power of Grayskull, he can turn into He-Man, who defends Eternia from all evil, especially Skeletor, along with his pet Cringer, who also turns into a superhero Battle Cat. He-Man makes the world safe, the fantasy world of Eternia safe for everyone. In the movie, well, not so much. So stick with the animated series. There are multiple versions you can choose from. You've got sword and sorcery, you've got action, you've got adventure. And He-Man is a character that you want to cheer on. He's definitely a superhero, and one we're glad to know. Next up, Masayoshi Hazama. Masayoshi Hazan is a character that appears in the anime called Samurai Flamenco. He starts out as a fashion model who becomes a mass do-gooder with a homemade gear. Sound familiar, Tiger and Bunny fans? Hazama patrols at night with his basic tools and a code against lethal force. Also similar to Batman, just like Bunny and Tiger and Bunny. The difference is his threat escalates as he moves from street crime to larger conspiracy, and he forms bonds with law enforcement, starting off with Officer Dalton. And the story tracks how a regular commoner or civilian builds a hero identity in public view. The show places his hero in the media spotlight, like Tiger and Bunny, where sponsors and ratings shape public safety. It explores how a symbol can inspire citizens and police to work together. This vigilante focuses on the everyday stakes, along with the team he eventually forms by the end. Samurai Flamenco is fun, comedic, and makes you ask yourself some deep questions when one by one his team forms and none of them are like him. It's a fun watch, and if you don't know him, you should. Next up, Eric Draven. Most of you are probably familiar with The Crow because of the 1994 movie or the unfortunate reboot later, which focuses on the supernatural. But what you probably didn't know, and which is never told in the film, is that Eric Draven is actually considered a superhero. Eric Draven's character was written by James O'Barr after creating the book series. He was originally created by O'Barr as a means of dealing with the death of his fiancée at the hands of a drunk driver. First published by Caliber Comics in 1989, it became an underground success and was later adapted into films, TV shows, and such. Knowing that this is based on the actual true story and how the author uses superhero to deal with the loss and the pain that comes with it, makes it even more interesting. Eric Draven is likable. He and his fiancée, who becomes his wife, are a sweet romantic couple with a dark, tragic ending. And Draven comes back to get revenge for the life he would have had being taken away. And at the same time, while doing that, saving others so that they are not destroyed the way he was as he goes along. As portrayed by Brandon Lee, he's awesome. He looks awesome and is fantastic. But you should give the comics a read because it expands on the story and the lore, and the artwork is fantastic. So if you just know surface Crow, I suggest you learn a little bit more. Get the comics, watch the movies, and become inspired by a superhero who emerged from the ashes of pain and loss.
Tell them Eric Draven sends his regards.
Next up, Joe Sumimura, Cyborg 009. Rascal and I learned about this particular show during research on Kamen Rider Kuga, which we absolutely love. And we were surprised to learn that the creator of Kamen Rider was also the creator of this anime series. So Joe Shimamura, he's also known as 009, and he's part of a group rescued from a weapons project and rebuilt with unique abilities. His signature acceleration power lets him move faster than the eye can track, and yes, the Flash is what you think of a movie. Missions place him at the center of covert operations against the syndicate that created the team in the first place. The 9 members combine to handle threats that range from espionage to superhuman warfare. And Joe often serves as the point unit because of his speed and his leadership. Now, Toei Animation produced key iterations of Cyborg 009, shaping the team dynamic with clear action layouts and a focus on cooperative tactics. It's great to look at whether you watch the original or the reboot. I'm currently watching the original. Choosing to use your powers for good. Joe is a superhero character you really should get to know. The next step is one of Rascal's favorite, Vic Sage, known mainly as the Question. Created by Steve Ditko and first appearing in Charlton Comics' Blue Beetle #1 in 1967, after being acquired by DC Comics in the early 80s. Now, this is a superhero character that's been around quite a while. As you can see from the pictures, he started off looking more like espionage character, but has been developed into being more as time has progressed. The Question has no superhuman powers, but he's highly skilled in martial arts, detective work, and investigative journalism. Sort of like a Batman with no face who also writes. His moral code is strict and is black and white, guiding him to pursue justice relentlessly. Over time, the character has explored philosophical paths, including objectivism and Zen. And also, in the version from Justice League, he is a paranoid conspiracy theorist. Along the way, he ends up forming a relationship with us, and their banter in the Justice League series is fun. Quick fun fact, Vic Sage trained Renee Montoya as a successor when he was suffering from lung cancer, passing on to her the mantle of the Question. So if you see female versions of him, well, in the canon, he approved of her to be his successor. He's quippy, he's funny, he's loyal, and he has a sense of justice. There really isn't matched by anyone but Batman in the West. So if you're not familiar with the Question, get familiar with him now. Although, at this point, we've never seen his face.
Finished.
Me too.
Not quite.
Next up, Pretty Cure Black and Pretty Cure White. Now this is one team I became familiar with recently, and boy do they kick butt. We'd heard of the Pretty Cure franchise and tried watching a few series, but never did I know that Pretty Cure Black and Cure White are superheroes. Nagisa Misumi and Honoka Tsukishiro transform into superheroes to fight evil while maintaining ordinary lives, representing teamwork and moral courage in a magical girl context. They look good fighting, which is pretty cool considering they're the only females in this lineup. The valiant Cure Black and the magnificent Cure White, warriors spoken of in legends passed down in the Garden of Light. With the monochrome power of their pure, beautiful hearts, they vanquish the disciples of darkness and free the hearts of those held captive by evil. This is definitely a series I want to get more into. If you've watched it, let me know in the comments. And last but not least, Snake Eyes. Yes, that's Snake Eyes. With his name still classified, so I can't tell you who he is. It's pretty interesting that this original G.I. Joe character is considered a superhero. Definitely wouldn't have thought that a toy released only to save a company would go on to become one of the most popular and awesome characters of the last 30 years. Snake Eyes was one of the original figures in the first G.I. Joe series, but to save Hasbro money, he was assembled and left unpainted. Now, what makes Snake Eyes so unique as compared to the rest of the team is that his history has remained classified. He's a true man of mystery, and through all of his depictions, his true name, birthplace, and service number have remained a secret. Snake Eyes is an expert in small arms and holds a black belt in 12 different fighting styles. Now, unlike almost every other hero within the G.I. Joe universe, Snake Eyes is extremely proficient in bladed weaponry. His uniform is not a traditional army uniform, but he dresses in all black attire. And in a world where we all try to be alike, we should applaud him for sticking out. Snake Eyes is on this list of heroes. He's not Marvel, he's not DC, but he's 100% superhero. Who would have thought so? So, are there any others superhero characters that most of us don't know are superheroes, whether they are Western or anime? Let us know in the comments. Definitely let me know if there are others you want me to add to the list, and I can make a follow-up video focusing on them as well. And be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this, as well as my other videos on faith, health, and beauty all year round. Enjoy Superhero Month. Enjoy our superheroes. Learn from their lessons and their mistakes. And be entertained and filled with joy. I'm Julie. Continue to be happy, healthy, and whole. Specials. See you next time, Specials.